I just wanted to come on here and share something that was really helpful for me when I was on my journey to self healing, recovering from substance abuse, and yeah, just really starting to get in touch with who I truly am and what my values were and what I believed, right, as a person who is in becoming more and more in awareness, right? So, one of the things that was super helpful for me was shifting my mindset around the universe or life or the world or however you look at it, um, is against me, right? Like everything that's happening to me in kind of a negative way, to shifting it from that to life is happening for me, right? Or the universe is supportive. Um, Whatever challenges are coming not to like hurt me or because I'm quote unquote like a bad person or I deserve it, right? It things happen to us. Like this is life. And we could look at it any way we want, right? We could look at it as like, why is this happening to me? This always happens to me, right? That mindset, I was there for many, many years of my life. And, when I was in that mindset, I wasn't really looking for another way. And I didn't really necessarily think there was another way to think about it or look at it, right? Because I was surrounding myself with people on that same level or that same mindset. So it was um anything that was going on, right? Where I would be like, oh, like, you know, life is against me and bad things happen to me and all this stuff. Um, I was around people who believe that same thing, right? Um, like life is tough and it is, right? Life, well, I look at it as like life has its challenges. That's part of being human. Things happen to all sorts of us that are unfortunate. And when I was in that mindset of like everything is happening to me, I thought that it didn't happen to other people that quote unquote were like happy or successful. Um, and what I didn't realize is that no, right? People get flat tires. The universe doesn't hate me. Maybe, I don't know. When I started looking at things different like that, I was like, oh, maybe I needed to slow down, right? Or there was an opportunity for me to like meet someone or have someone say something to me that I would have missed if I hadn't got said flat tire, right? I'm just using a silly example, but just trying to give examples of what I mean. Um, so I started shifting my way of looking at life. And I started looking at life in a way of it's happening for me. Everything is happening for me. There's lessons, there's little gems and anything that goes on in our life. And it's really our choice to choose and decide how we want to look at it. Right. Um, I know some people lately have told me that, yeah, they do feel overwhelmed or that, you know, life is unfair, what have you. And it's like, well, things that are happening are happening because of whatever you're doing, right? If you do something that is unhealthy for yourself or not in your best interest, the universe, life has a way of kind of putting it in your face and being like, hey, like you need to stop and look. And it's an opportunity for you to shift or to grow, right? That may mean that there's some consequences to your actions. And when we live in this space of everything is happening to me or the world is against me, we kind of in a way, don't take accountability for our actions in this world. So coming from a different mindset of life is happening for me, right? I feel like we're kind of taking our power back in a sense and being like, oh, right, like, let me take responsibility for how I'm moving through the world, right? Um, the universe wants us to thrive, doesn't want us to fail by any means. And again, it's just the way you look at it. So I'm just offering another way to look at it. You don't have to do it. You could just, I don't know, ignore what I'm saying, or you could try. Like, right? What's the worst that could happen? Something might shift for you, right? And there's another example that I want to share about this sort of idea. So in my family, there was this whole thing about how, like, we have bad car luck. Okay, this is like my dad, my brother, me, moving into like the next generation, right? Like my brother's kids, and it's like, oh yeah, like something happens with our cars, and we're like, oh my god, yeah, it's like the curse of like the Rio Frios. And one day after I started shifting my mindset, I was like, how about no? Like, how about there isn't this curse, right? How about no? Like, when certain things would happen to my car or family members' cars, I was like, well, what actually was going on, right? Like, maybe we weren't maintaining our cars, so eventually something happened, inevitable. Or we weren't paying attention and we got into a fender bender, right? Or in my case, right, like I was drinking and driving and I got a DUI. Okay, thank God it didn't hurt anyone. And it's like, and we get like upset that these things happen. And it's like, well, what was I doing, or what was I neglecting that this happened? It didn't just like come out of thin air, right? Yes, sometimes you get a flat tire and it seems random, right? But maybe my tires were bald or whatnot. So I'm just sharing this because it was really funny. So once I shifted this like idea that we are cursed with cars, I haven't had any like insane car stuff go on. And this has now been 10 years since I've done this. Again, stuff happens. Doesn't mean there's a curse on me or my family, in my eyes. They could believe what they would like. It's totally fine. But I'm choosing to change that. Again, it's just a little example of shifting the way we look at things, because sometimes the way we've looked at things for a long time no longer serve us, right? They actually may hold us back. And I'll share more stories and stuff like that on here as I feel inspired. So anyway, if you enjoy this, or if you have some shift or some way you've been looking at something and a way you've decided to look at it differently, I would love to hear that in the comments. This is super inspiring to me and other people. Okay, have a wonderful day, everyone.